kitchen. Today we're going to make Maamoul Date Cookies. Maamoul cookies are celebratory for the end of Ramadan for the holiday Eid al-Fitr. And so we're going to make these cookies today in honor of that celebration. And I am so excited because I just got this special mold. And it is made specifically for the Maamoul. So I'm going to open this up and show you how to make it. We're going to be using these beautiful dates, and our recipe has 3/4 of a cup of clarified butter, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 tablespoon rose water, 4 tablespoons of milk. If you do not have the rose water, you can just admit it, you don't need it. 1 cup of dates, 1/4 cup of boiling water, 1/4 cup of teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and that is to soften the dried dates. The skin on the dates is kind of tough, so that softens it, and 1 teaspoon of orange zest. We need 3/4 of a cup of clarified butter. So how do we do that? Well, you're gonna melt butter, and what you need to do is you need to remove the foam that's on the top. And when you're gonna pour it into the measuring cup, you're gonna pour it at an angle. So all the milk solids are gonna stay at the bottom. Clarified butter is basically most of just the oil of the butter, the fat, without the milk solids. If you are using milk solids and leaving that in, when you're cooking or baking with it at high temperatures, it tends to burn. So this is a solution for preventing it from burning. So this is used a lot in Greek cooking for making baklava, and also in our Maamoul for our cooking dough. So here's our clarified butter in the measuring cup, and I tried to make as much as the foam, and then when I poured it out of the pot, I kept it at an angle so you can see all the milk solids are still in the pot. We have 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that we're going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, and just so you know, if you want to do by weight, 2.5 cups is 12 ounces. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, and to that we're then going to pour in our clarified butter. I'm going to stir that up first, and then we're going to pour this in and stir all of that together. To this, we're going to add 4 tablespoons of milk, which is also a 1/4 cup, and 1 tablespoon of rose water. Now, if you don't have the rose water, don't worry, it's not a problem. Rose water, though, is great. It is that flavor in a lot of Middle Eastern sweets that makes it so special. So if you are able to get this, I got this at our Indian store on 6th Street and 2nd Avenue. And, this is a lot, so it'll last for a very long time, but I like to use it with our baklava as well. So we're gonna add all of that together. It looks very wet, and I've been stirring this for about 30 seconds. The more you stir it, the more it comes together. So please make sure you knead this for about 1 minute, and then you're gonna let it rest in the refrigerator covered with plastic wrap for about 30 minutes to an hour, or even up to overnight if you need to. So I'm gonna add in our 1/4 cup of boiling water, and then we're gonna let that sit for 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna add in our 1 teaspoon of orange zest. So if you've got a microplane zester, great. If not, use a box grater and get the zest off. You just need 1 teaspoon. This has been sitting for 5 minutes. I'm adding our 1 teaspoon of orange zest. And then we're gonna put the whole entire mixture into our food processor. We're gonna chop up all those dates and make a lovely paste. And that will be the filling for our cookie. Here's our finished date paste. See how smooth it is? And it smells wonderful with that orange zest. So we're gonna let that chill. Here's our fantastic mold. So you see it has 3 different shapes. Now this is a really big one, and a lot of people use that actually for a moon cake, which is Chinese. But this size is probably the best size for what we want to do. So I'm going to try to make some that size, and maybe make it 1 or 2 this size too, and see how it turns out. So I have our dough here now, but we want to divide it in half so that way we can work with half at a time. I'll get the other half chilled, and I'm going to roll this out into sort of like a rope, and then we're going to portion. Now, if you don't have this mold, you should be able to do it free form. You're going to roll it into a bowl, and then you're going to shape it like a cup, pressing your thumb down into your palm. I placed a scoop of our filling, and now we're going to fold the cookie dough up and over our filling with something that's like a beggar's purse. So that's just red food dye from making rice and cookies at the same time, so it doesn't come out. And then we're going to turn it over and shape it better, okay? So for this mold, I put in enough batter to the cookie dough to fill up the sides. We're going to put in our filling, and then we're going to cover it with another piece of dough, and then bang it out. There we go. We've got our freeform hand-shaped one, and then our Maamoul mold one. All right. So when we're making our cookies, if you do it in the method where you fill in the mold first, you put your dough, then the filling, and then another piece of dough on top, it tends to separate when it's baking. So another way of doing it is, this is 1.5 ounces of the dough. We're gonna just roll it out a little bit thin, and we're gonna put a half teaspoon of filling in the middle, half teaspoon, a smaller amount. And then you're just gonna pinch it up, the dough around it, making it like a pocket. So you're pinching that closed so it doesn't really have a seam. And then once you get it closed, put it in here, spray it with a little non-stick spray to help get it out. Place it right inside the mold, press it down, it spreads out, and then just pinch it back from the edges so it can release easily, and then tap it out. There you go. So now that's another way of doing it, and that should hold it so that way when it bakes, the seam doesn't separate and open. So whichever way you find easiest, please do that. Here are our beautiful Maamoul finished. They have a nice light color to them, a little golden brown on the bottom, and I also dusted them with a little bit of powdered sugar. And they taste delightful. There are a whole bunch that I've already made and have to bake next. And I also thought maybe I could do something like that way. So I would experiment and see. But this was lots of fun, and another time I'm gonna have to use this mold and see how those work, or maybe if they work with a different type of cookie. But this was the mold that I used, and it actually, after 2 of them, it got very easy, so I figured out how to do it. Pressing the dough into it, putting the filling in, putting a piece of dough on the top, pressing down, and then tapping it out. Baked it at 300 for about 15 minutes. So I hope you enjoy this and are inspired to make them. Please check out any of my other videos on my YouTube channel. We do lots of different recipes from around the world, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks. For more recipe demonstrations, please click like and subscribe to Chef Victoria Loves YouTube channel and have fun in the kitchen. Thank you.